Let me take you down to what's going to be a big court story today as well. The Pietermaritzburg High Court is getting ready as the Jacob Zuma court case is returning to the court. That is going to be where it's all taking place later. It's that middle chair which is going to be the real focus for today. Why do I say that? It's all about whether Judge Piet Koen is going to recuse himself from this court case. So let's go from an empty courtroom for now to a busy entrance of the High Court. And there is senior reporter Dasen Thathaih once again on this for us. And that is going to be the focus today. I think you used the word an admin day, if you will. Just unpack that again for us, Dasen. Morning.
Morning, Gareth. Once again, we are just about 2 hours away from hearing what that decision is. The decision you mentioned, whether Judge Piet Koen will be recusing himself or not. And that's obviously a very crucial element for this trial. I guess for everyone that's involved in this trial and in this case, we are at a point where even if that decision is made one way or another, fortunately, it's still in the pre-trial litigation stage, which means that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's mid-trial where it has to start all the way from the bottom. So that's definitely one to watch. This is largely because the judge had said previously that he wants to make sure that the trial is run in such a manner where it's beyond reproach. He wants to make sure everything is done the right way and that all the ducks are in a row, so to speak, so that there can't be anything that, for example, is said afterwards about how the trial was conducted. At the face of it, though, you would think that both parties are effectively saying the same thing, that they want the matter to proceed. It's just that they're saying how that happens is in different ways. For example, Zuma's legal team is saying that they want it to happen but without Downer, and that's largely what the special plea was all about, which that process started in May 2021. So they're saying, let this matter proceed, but can we have Advocate Billy Downer out of it? The NPA, on the other hand, is saying that the matter must proceed. And Zuma's legal team, the last time around, had also mentioned that if they had wanted to cause delays, which they'd been accused of by the NPA, then they would have applied for postponement, and they hadn't done that. They're just saying that they want those other processes, such as the private prosecution of the lead prosecutor in this case, to continue, and they want an outcome on that before this matter continues. We did also have an opportunity as the channel to speak to the NPA. They say that they want this matter to get underway as soon as possible. Let's listen to what they had to say during that interview.
We are hoping that there will be no delays. Remember, there's been a lot of litigation issues, preliminary issues, interlocutory applications that have been going on up to the Constitutional Court, which is Apex Court, and it has already ruled. So all that we are looking forward to witnesses on the witness stand so that the trial can resume at last.
And hearing as well, apart from the potential delays around this, hearing from Mpumelelo Zikalala, Dasen, as well, about how the judge will come to this sort of decision. I actually had a chance to talk to him this morning. I know you had a sit-down with Mpumelelo as well, talking about this. And what he found so interesting, and he reiterated this morning, is that the judge came up with the decision to consider recusing himself all on his own. There wasn't a request by either the prosecution or the defense.
Definitely, and that's exactly how we got to this point. This was self-initiated, so to speak. Both the parties had an opportunity to submit arguments to that effect as to whether they are for or against that recusal. And ultimately, we get to this point now where that decision is made, and all to ensure that the trial does get underway. We know that the Constitutional Court ruling last month now paves the way for this trial to actually begin. There were several failed attempts by Mr. Zuma to ensure that that special plea actually comes to fruition, where the lead advocate here is removed. But unfortunately, that was not meant to be. In fact, what is interesting about that conversation that we had with Mpumelelo Zikalala, he also mentioned to us that the private prosecution that we are talking about, that's with Billy Downer, that actually has or should have no impact, he says, on this current matter proceeding, because he says prosecutors can be changed at any point during a trial anyway. So there's no reason why this needs to be delayed while that process is concluded. And that's a matter that will come to court soon as well. But let's listen to part of that interview that we did with Mpumelelo Zikalala, just talking a little bit more about what is expected to happen today or the implications thereof.
only the judge that can decide that, I have certain information within me or certain pronouncement that I have made that when this matter is looked on by the third party, they may then come back and say, but, Judge, you may have prejudged this particular matter. You may have made certain conclusion which leads to the innocent or guilt of the accused, which is in front of you, without any evidence having been led. With that being said, it's clear that you already were biased towards the state or you're already biased towards the accused in this matter. You are not fit and proper to be able to sit and be able to listen to the arguments which are going to be leveled against you. So on that basis, you shouldn't have listened to this matter in the first place. That's where the irregularity is going to sit. And part of it may lead to the accused person being let go or being freed. So it was under this background, or at the back of this background, in which I think Judge Koen then says, I think this is a matter that needs to be explored, if not indirectly, formally, as I'm doing now. I'm going to look into the facts of this matter, look into the nature of my judgment, and come back to a conclusion whether I should continue being the presiding officer or not.
And Dasen, for those viewers only joining us now, remind us of the time that court's meant to get underway, and are cameras, etc., going to be allowed inside court?
Definitely, Gareth, will be bringing those proceedings live to our viewers. We expect it to be in court at about 9:30. It could begin any time between then and about 10 o'clock. So everything is ready from our side. As I mentioned, we will be waiting for that very important decision today from Judge Piet Koen.
And I appreciate it, as always, senior reporter Dasen Thathaih. If you can't stay with us here on 403, you can expect live updates on eNCA.com, live streaming, and without a doubt, you can go and follow Dasen Thathaih on Twitter as well. He often updates as quickly as he can from inside court as well. We're back to Dasen later in the morning.